Merry Christmas, everybody. Today I'm making pies for the holidays. I'm making apple pies, coconut cream pies, and a bread pudding and a pecan pie. But for this video, I'm going to show you how to make my famous coconut cream pie. Everybody loves my coconut cream, and I've been making it for a very long time. I have a friend, a very dear friend, Shanoa, that I had promised her a pie. She informed me the other day, it was 8 years ago. We had things that came up and I never got it to her, so I want to surprise her with a coconut cream pie before the holidays this year. So I want to show you how to make the pie for her. Plus, she wasn't able to make one, so maybe this video will help her to follow to make the pie herself next time. So I've already prepared the pie crust, and for the coconut cream pie you want it already browned in the oven. So now we're working on the cream part of it, and once it's done we'll put it in the already prepared and cooked pie crust. So right now I'm going to go ahead just to start off to make things simple down the road. I need to separate 4 eggs. I need to separate the egg whites from the yolk. The egg whites I'm going to use for the meringue on top, so I'm going to put it into my bowl that's going on my mixer. And the yolks I'm putting in another bowl that will be used in the pudding mix that I'm making. So anyway, so I'm going to start separating them. And I don't have one of those fancy egg separator things, so I just do it the old-fashioned way to separate it. You want to be careful not to get the egg yolk down in, or you don't want to get the shells or anything in the bowl will prevent it from making the meringue. So you want to keep it all clean. Plus, just letting the meringue sit out while you make the pie helps, because it gets it to room temperature, which I think also helps. Now I'm just preparing this ahead of time. You can do it after you get the other mixture started. I think it just makes it easier to have it all prepped and ready. Whoa, I almost got it in there. Good save. I've got this turned on medium, and what I'm going to start off with is a cup of sugar, a half a cup of flour, and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to put in 3 cups of milk. Now, the secret is you want to keep whisking this as you go. So I'm going to pour the 3 cups of milk in. And then you want to continuously stir it to make sure that you get the lumps out. Now, this process is kind of tedious because you want to just keep stirring it. So that's the hardest part of it. And it's just to get the lumps out, and you want this to thicken. This is making your pudding. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. Once it gets thickened, then I'll show you, but we are going to add the egg yolks to it. But the secret to that, there is a secret to that. My grandmother, one time I made this with her, and she just put the egg yolks in. You don't want to do that, because then you're making scrambled eggs. You want the bowl that I have the egg yolks in, I will slightly beat that together, and then I'll pour this prepared, a little bit of this into that and stir it all up, and then put it in here. And that prevents your eggs from cooking before you want them to, because otherwise you're just going to have fried eggs in your pudding. So that's the little secret. So now I've got it in between medium and high, and it's just going to keep stirring it. The lumps are out of it now. So, but it's not thickened, so we just keep stirring it till it's thickened. Okay, so now you just keep stirring, and I've got a spoon now, but you keep scraping the bottom, because as it thickens, that's where you're going to see it. But you can kind of watch it. You can kind of see it thickening a little bit now. It's not thick, but you can see that it's not as thin as it was. see it getting thicker. It's definitely getting thicker. You want it to be, it's gonna bubble, and when it starts bubbling, then I'm gonna turn it down and let it keep bubbling for a couple more minutes because it'll just keep thickening. And I'm scraping the bottom. You can feel it all on the bottom now. So you don't want it. See, it's bubbling, so I'm going to turn it on low. And you can see how thick it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you how. I'm going to turn that off. And it's going to continue cooking while it's off. Now I'm going to bring my eggs over here. And give them a little whip. And now we're going to mix. The thing is, I want to stir it. This is the hard part, to manage both of them. If you have somebody that can hold it and help you, that's always good. But I'm going to pour some in and stir while I'm pouring it in. See, so I'm mixing it all up with the egg. This is kind of, it's cooking the egg, but it's not frying it. I'm going to pour a little more in. And stir it in. That keeps it from being lumpy and it keeps the eggs from cooking. Now we're going to turn this back on to low. And I'm going to dump this into here and stir it while I'm dumping it. Oops. The whole goal is to not cook the egg by itself. Now it'll continue cooking. I mean, when my grandmother used to make the pie, she would do it with the egg in it all at the same time. And this is adding it afterwards. So there's different ways to do it. This is the easiest way to get a smooth filling. You can tell it's thick. Just let it keep cooking. Okay, so it's starting to bubble again. That's what I wanted it to do. And I am going to add, 3 tablespoons of butter, which is just a little bit less, 1 less than a fourth. You can see it bubbling. And I'm going to put that in and let it, just stir it and let it melt in there. Okay, so while the butter is melting and it's on low, I am going to add a teaspoon and a half of vanilla. Sometimes I put a little extra in because I love vanilla. It's about a half to 3/4 basically. Stir it in. I made one of these pies last night for another friend, and I think they had it for breakfast. They shared it with people last night and had it for breakfast this morning. And this is a cup of coconut that I'm adding to it now to stir it in, and I can still see the butter is still melting in it. So you're just mixing it up and letting it, well, I'm just waiting for the butter to melt basically. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. It is ready. Now I'm going to put it into my crust. Pour it in. I'm gonna let it cool a little bit, and I'm gonna show you how to make the meringue. One of these days I'll show you how to make a crust. I just always start these and just start it with the pie itself because the crust is its own little thing. Issue. Okay, so that is the pie. So now I'm going to show you how to make the meringue. This is the 4 egg whites from the 4 egg yolks that I used in the pie itself. And I'm going to turn my mixer on high because we're going to make the meringue. I'm going to let it get whipping. And I'm going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar to it. Cream of tartar. That just helps it make the meringue better. And I'm going to let it whip a little bit to get to more meringue status. And then this is 1/3 of a cup of sugar, which I probably won't use the whole 1/3 of a cup because I don't like my meringue really sweet. But I'll add some sugar in. You can see it's starting to get foamy. So I'm going to add a little sugar. That was probably about 2/3. I'll add a little more. Just a little bit less than 1/3. Just keep it on high till it's whipped. I love my KitchenAid. It makes it so much easier. Okay, I'm going to turn it down and see if it's whipped enough. Yeah, it's got good peaks forming. So you want those peaks. So now it's done. I think it's, I think it's done. It's done. You never know if underneath it could be whipped a little longer, but it looks like it's completely ready. Now we're going to get it on the pie. So I'm dumping 4 egg whites will make it very thick, or make it a big meringue. So basically I'm going to do it to the ends. You want to cover the crust itself. You make sure the crust gets covered. And so then we're going to take this and just kind of make some peaks and valleys in the meringue. There's still a lot on here, so I'll just add that. Either that or you can eat it. And then I'm going to get, for the coconut cream, if you're having other pies, you'd like to put some coconut on top so that whenever you're serving it, you know that it's the coconut cream because it has some coconuts on top. And it just makes it prettier. I'm going to make sure they're broke up a little bit. Let's just sprinkle some on. And they'll get brown and crusty. And then we're going to put this in the oven. I have the oven on 350 for whenever I heated up the crust. So now we're going to put this in the oven. We're going to stick it in the oven and we're going to watch for the meringue to brown. And mostly it'll be the peaks that brown and they get darker brown. So we're going to watch that and then pull it out when it's done. And that's all there is to it. 1 pie out of the way, 3 more to go. Okay, let's check it and see if it's brown. Oh yeah, it's perfect. Let's get it out of here. So now, you want it to cool before you eat it, the filling especially, and I'm going to let it cool before I take it to my friend. But isn't that perfect? Homemade coconut cream pie. So just to let you know, that was coconut cream. If you want to make banana cream, which was my father-in-law's favorite pie, all you do it the same way, but you don't put the coconut in. And you slice bananas on the bottom of the crust before you put the filling in. So you put bananas on the bottom, then you make your filling without putting in the coconut, and then you pour it on top, and that's it. You have a banana cream pie. So this recipe actually is telling you 2 different pies to make. I hope you enjoyed this. This is my secret coconut cream pie recipe, and please try it and let me know what you think. Hit my subscribe button and be sure and like my channel. Thank you.
Hold on, I gotta take a picture of you. Don't you move.
Well, it's not even opened up.
I don't care, don't move. This is a miracle.
There's your, I'm bringing you a gift.
Miracle.
8 years coming.
8 years later. I'm
It is
so
fresh and
excited.
hot, and there you go.
I'm so excited. I gotta come to
You have to keep it up or the meringue will
Thank
mess
you.
up. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
I didn't bring your peppermint bark this time. But then I'd have to order another pie. I know how that works.
Yeah, 8 years, that.
So she takes care of me at insurance. She always has. This is Chanel. I've already.
But we worked together
Yes.
when you wrote it to me.
Yes. That's true. Merry Christmas.
Thank you